Talismans are by far the most important element of Hypixel Skyblock, yet are also simultaneously the most confusing and misunderstood ones as well. If you've ever tried to get help in this game, it's very likely that you've heard the response, just get more talismans, or you need more magical power, and if you haven't, then you've probably just not been playing Skyblock for long enough. If this has been confusing to you, or still is confusing though, then you're in luck, because that's exactly the information that I'll be covering in today's video. I'm going to cover what talismans actually are, what magical power is, how you can increase your magical power, and so much more. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into today's video. So to get things started, what actually are talismans in Hypixel Skyblock? Talismans, also known as accessories, are items that you can collect throughout your Skyblock journey, and in return will provide you with two major benefits. The first benefit is the most obvious one, which is just the actual stat boosts that you gain when you have possession of the talisman itself. The second benefit, and easily the more important one though, is the amount of magical power that the talisman will give you when it's placed in your accessory bag. Let me provide you with an example. Take the Farming Talisman, a really cheap and easy to obtain accessory that you unlock from reaching Wheat Collection 4. Upon crafting this and placing it in your inventory, it will give you plus 10 speed when you're on any of the farming islands. This description is the stat boost the talisman is granting, and it will be active on your account as long as the accessory stays in your inventory or in your accessory bag. However, what the Farming Talisman doesn't tell you is that if you do place it in your accessory bag, it will grant you plus 3 magical power. This magical power increase is crucial because the more magical power you have, the stronger your selected power stone becomes. Now, some of you might not know what the accessory bag, magical power, or your selected power stones are, so let me explain. The accessory bag is a separate inventory that you can find on your Skyblock profile by navigating the Skyblock menu. This inventory's sole purpose is to store every talisman you obtain while playing through the game and nothing else. That way, you can obtain over a regular inventory worth of accessories on your account and then get these stat boosts from all of them at the same time without it actually hindering your main gameplay. The accessory bag can be upgraded through various different methods, and I'll walk you through how to do this later in the video. The second advantage to the accessory bag though is the stat boosts that you can obtain from it. The cool thing about the accessory bag is that you can actually select different powers with it. These powers can be enhanced by filling your accessory bag with talismans, and you can only have one power selected at a time. Every Skyblock profile starts out with some beginner powers, but you can also obtain stronger powers by unlocking them with their respective power stones. These powers simply give you extra stat boosts to your profile, whether it's more strength, crit damage, crit chance, intelligence, and so on. The strength of your selected power is measured by how much magical power you have, and magical power can only be increased by collecting talismans and placing them in the accessory bag. Common talismans grant the lowest amount of magical power per talisman, while mythic talismans grant the highest. So it's not only important to get as many talismans as you can, but higher rarity ones too. So that's about it for talismans and their purpose. The more talismans you collect, the more magical power you'll have. And the more magical power you have, the stronger your selected power becomes. Now that we've got that covered and out of the way though, I'm going to start talking about the accessory bag and how you can upgrade it. To unlock the accessory bag, you need to reach Redstone Collection 2. This is super easily obtainable by mining 250 redstone, which only takes about a minute in the Pigman's Den on the deep caverns. The redstone collection is also the best and easiest way to upgrade your newly unlocked accessory bag because it has 9 total size upgrades the more you level the collection. While you can mine all 1.4 million redstone required to max out the collection, most people don't want to spend that much time digging up all that redstone. Because of this, I would recommend replacing a good handful of your minions with tier 5 redstone minions at least, but tier 7s, 9s, or 11s will be more effective and will max the collection quicker. While these minions are running on your island and slowly upgrading your bag though, you'll want to visit Elizabeth to access the community shop. Here, you'll want to start working on the accessory bag upgrades to unlock even more slots on top of the redstone collection. And best of all, this is completely free, so all you really need to do is wait out the timers and collect the upgrade once it's finished. Another quick and easy way to get a few more accessory bag slots is by talking to the redstone miner in the deep caverns. Upon starting his short questline, he'll ask you to bring him varying amounts of redstone, and every time you complete one of his tasks, he'll grant you an extra accessory slot. You can unlock up to 4 accessory bag slots from this one questline alone, and if you're not an Iron Man player with the bazaar unlocked, it'll be really quick and easy. Even if you are an Iron Man player, you can hand mine all of the redstone fairly quickly, but just make sure to do it in the tunnel between the slime hill and the pigman's den so you don't get swarmed by angry pigmen. After this short questline has been completed, the final way that you can obtain more slots is through the Jacobus NPC. This is definitely a more mid to end game option though, because this is where you'll have to start buying the accessory slots using your coins. The first upgrade will cost you 1.5 million coins, but after that, they start costing 5 million coins, 8 million coins, and they scale up all the way until it's 20 million coins per slot. As a result, I'd only suggest doing this once you've filled out your accessory bag and you've completed all the other methods to increase its size, because this will burn a hole in your purse super quickly. Nonetheless, this is how you actually unlock the accessory bag and every way that you can upgrade it. So now I'm going to move on to the next section of this video, which will cover the best way to fill the accessory bag. So now that you've completed some of the previous steps and actually got yourself an accessory bag, how do you fill it up? What are the best talismans to buy, and what should you look for when increasing your magical power? First things first, there is no such thing as the best talismans. A lot of people seem to believe that there's some sort of progression system with accessories, but in reality, they're all extremely important, and if you're trying to max out your stats in this game, you'll want to end up buying every single talisman. Obviously, buying every talisman is completely out of reach for the vast majority of Skyblock players, so let's cover some of the easier ones that you can shoot for at the start of the game, and then talk about what you can go for after that. The very first talisman I'd recommend going for is the Farming Talisman. Just like I mentioned in the introduction, you unlock the recipe for this at Wheat Collection 4, and it's insanely cheap, so there's no reason not to make one. Some examples of other easy collection talismans are the Talisman of Coins, Emerald Ring, Magnetic Talisman, Gravity Talisman, Wood Affinity Talisman, and Night Vision Charm, but they're not as simple as just breaking some wheat on the hub island for 20 seconds, and you'll likely want to place some minions down to unlock the collection for these ones instead. As a result, while you're unlocking all of these early game collections and gathering the recipes for these accessories, you can head on over to the Adventurer NPC on the hub island and purchase all of the talismans in his shop. In total, this will only cost you 26,000 coins, and it will grant you an easy 18 magical power, so I'd highly recommend doing this for a quick head start to filling your bag. Another bunch of really easy to obtain talismans are all of the island racing or quest accessories. This includes the Wolf Paw, Pig's Foot, Cheetah Talisman, Frozen Chicken, and the Archaeologist's Compass, which are all obtainable from various different quest lines on different islands. If you aren't already familiar with these, then I'll leave a link to the Hypixel wiki in the description of this video, as you'll be able to look them up for yourself and learn all the necessary information to get your hands on them. Getting a hold of these quest accessories is another really easy and cheap way to get a massive boost in magical power, especially because most of the quest accessories aren't commons, meaning that they'll give you more magical power per talisman. Once you've obtained these though, now you can begin the process of going through your large list of missing talismans and filtering through the ones that you can and can't afford. To do this, I'd highly recommend using an external tool such as the Sky Helper Discord bot, Skycrypt, or even mods such as NEU. These tools are incredibly helpful, as they tell you every single talisman and upgrade of that talisman that you're currently missing on your profile, so that way you'll know exactly what to upgrade into next. The Sky Helper Discord bot is easily the most popular and arguably the best of these tools, because it actually orders the talismans from cheapest to most expensive by calculating the best value for money options. You can find the Sky Helper Discord bot in most popular Skyblock Discords, and I'll leave a link to 2 really big ones in the description below. I also have a link to my own Discord in the description, but don't try to look for the Sky Helper bot in there since my Discord server doesn't have any Skyblock related tools. Aside from that, the last piece of advice that I have for upgrading your talisman bag is to get help from other players if you have easy access to it. I mentioned earlier that there are a large handful of talismans that have various recipes unlocked through various collections, and if you don't have these recipes, then you can't make these talismans. However, if you use an external tool and it's telling you that your cheapest upgrade is a talisman that you can't craft yet, then getting someone to craft it for you can come in very useful. Most accessories don't actually come with any requirements to use them, so if you can find someone with the unlocked collection, give them the materials, have them make it for you, and then hand it back to you, then you can skip out on unlocking a lot of recipes and still gain the magical power from the talisman. Be very careful though, because some people will try to scam you of your ingredients if you give your ingredients to the wrong people, so make sure you give it to somebody that you trust, or make sure that you get collateral items from the person you're trading to so that you don't lose your money. Alternatively, you can purchase a good handful of crafted accessories off of the auction house, but be careful when doing this since it tends to be more expensive to purchase them upfront than if you bought the materials and just crafted it yourself. And another important thing to note when you do get accessories crafted, some of them are soulbound or just can't be traded to other players, so make sure you don't get somebody to craft you a talisman that they can't trade back to you, because then they'll be stuck with a talisman that they just can't give to you. It will always be better to have the recipe unlocked so you can just craft it yourself, but if you are lazy or you want to accelerate your progression faster, these are potential options you can use. That concludes all of the information I had on obtaining talismans though. So now I'm going to talk about some miscellaneous tips when you're looking to increase your magical power. As I discussed earlier in this video, the purpose of increasing your magical power is to increase the strength of your selected power stone. This is great and all, but if you don't know what power stones to use, then it kind of defeats the purpose of going for talismans in the first place. As a result, I'll quickly list off the most used power stones at the time of recording this video and their purposes to help you shoot for the right ones. For the beginner power stones, you shouldn't really be using anything that isn't inspired or warrior. Before you unlock any power stones at all, warrior will be your best bet for a combination of solid melee and ranged damage and crit chance, while inspired is designed to give you more intelligence. You will want to upgrade out of these power stones really quickly though, so here's what I suggest. Upgrades for warrior are silky, bloody, and hurtful. Silky and bloody are basically free, but they have a combat requirement of 15 and 20 respectively. Both of these are great options for raw, melee, and range damage, so just pick the one that deals more damage with your setup. Hurtful is the upgraded version of these two power stones and is the final upgrade to raw, melee, and range damage. There are other options out there like Scorching, Strong, and Itchy, but these tend to either be really situational or just not as good as Hurtful, so unless you really know what you're doing, you shouldn't be using anything that isn't silky, bloody, or hurtful. Upgrades from the Inspired Power Stone is the Sighted or Bizarre powers. Sighted is a no-brainer, it gives a crazy amount of intelligence and thus is optimal for mages, while Bizarre is just an upgrade to Sighted, but it's so incredibly expensive that you can pretty much ignore this power stone's existence until you're sitting on roughly a 25 billion coin net worth and for some reason, you just have the extra cash to upgrade into it. The Fortuitous Power Stone is another really useful power stone, but not for the reason you'd originally think. This is a beginner power stone with really subpar damage stats and underwhelming health stats, but its insane crit chance numbers are perfect for players that want to use the Terminator. You won't have to worry about using this until you do have a Terminator though, but I just wanted to throw that out there in case some people didn't already know this. All in all, the power stone that you use will vary based on your budget, your needs, and your preferences. And as this video ages and Skyblock goes through more updates, there's a good chance that more and more power stones will be released that will compete with the ones that I've talked about in today's video. As a result, it's always good to do your own research just to check what the current meta power stones are, so you can use the best ones depending on the Skyblock update. With all that power stone talk out of the way though, I want to talk about the actual stats that talismans provide and whether or not it's worth buying talismans because of them. Generally speaking, the only reason you want to buy a talisman is for the magical power increase, but there are some talismans in this game that are massive quality of life improvements. The ones that I can think of off the top of my head are the Lava Talisman, Fire Talisman, and Magnetic Talisman, which negate fire damage, negate lava damage, and increase your dropped item pickup range. If it wasn't obvious already, taking no damage from fire and lava is really nice to have, and the increased pickup range for dropped items is also super convenient. There are a handful of talismans out there with useful quality of life improvements, and while I won't list them all in this video, I would recommend doing a bit of research yourself and looking for the ones that you think will benefit you most. Aside from that, the last piece of miscellaneous advice I have for this video is recombobulating your talismans. For those that aren't aware, the Recombobulator is a consumable item that will increase the rarity of whatever you apply to it by 1. As a result, if you recombobulate a legendary accessory into a mythic one, it'll make it grant 22 magical power instead of 16. This applies to all rarities of every accessory, meaning that a long-term goal you should be going for is recombobulating your entire accessory bag. The Sky Helper Discord bot actually tells you when recombobulating becomes more value for money than buying entirely new accessories, so if you don't know when you should start doing this, then the bot should help you out. This is a more mid to late game option though, so it's not something that you should be worrying about if you're just starting out in Skyblock. But with all of that information out of the way, that concludes everything that I had for this talisman guide. Hopefully this gives you some more clarity on the importance of talismans in Hypixel Skyblock, and now when someone tells you, just get more talismans, or you need more magical power, you'll actually know what they're talking about now. If you did find this video useful, informative, or enjoyable in some way though, consider subscribing to the channel as this is the sort of content that I post around here. That's all I had for this video though, and I'll catch you guys in the next upload.